Two men helped build the APC. Now they're positioning themselves to take it down. Nasir El-Rufai and Wike Amaechi. Both were architects of the APC, part of the machine that put the party in a position of dominance. And now, both of them are telling you they're the people to take it down. Before we go any further, I want to ask the blunt version of that question. Did these men develop new convictions, or did they lose internal power struggles, and now they need somewhere to go? That question matters more than it usually does, because one of these men, El-Rufai, is not even on the ballot. He's a coalition builder, a kingmaker. So the real question isn't whether you trust him as a candidate. It's whether he can deliver, and whether he can deliver while 3 government agencies are currently investigating him. I'm going to give you both sides of this, honestly. Let's start with the strongest version of the case for having them in this coalition. El-Rufai was not a peripheral figure in APC. He was part of the founding coalition that ended 16 years of PDP rule in 2015. He knows how the machine was built, the funding networks, the informal alliances, the pressure points that don't show up in any party constitution. That institutional knowledge is rare. And it's exactly what a new coalition needs if it's going to compete with a party that has incumbency, state resources, and a tested operation. Geographically, he brings reach into the Northwest. Kaduna specifically, and that is not a small thing. The Northwest is the largest geopolitical zone by registered voter count. Any opposition that can't mount a serious presence there is already conceding ground before a ballot is cast. Amaechi's case is different, but equally concrete. He didn't just serve in APC, he chaired Tinubu's 2022 presidential campaign before their relationship broke down. He ran that operation. He knows how President Tinubu builds coalitions, how he deploys resources, and where the APC is genuinely exposed in the South-South. In 2015, he was one of the governors who broke from President Jonathan's PDP and helped swing that election. He's done this before, from the other side, and it worked. He's now gone further. In February 2026, South-South ADC leaders met at the Benin City residence of former APC chairman John Odigi Oyegun, and depending on which official you ask, either endorsed or strongly indicated support for Amaechi's presidential bid. He has publicly said the South should complete its 8-year term before power rotates north. That framing speaks directly to a zone that feels it was shortchanged in 2023. That's the insider argument. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. El-Rufai's journey to the ADC was not clean. He left APC in March 2025, joined the SDP, but the SDP says he never properly registered at ward level. They accused him of falsely announcing membership on social media, trying to drag the party into a coalition it hadn't agreed to, and sponsoring internal dissidents when negotiations collapsed. In July 2025, they didn't just expel him, they banned him for 30 years. He then formally joined the ADC in November 2025. That's 2 parties in 8 months. And during a Kaduna by-election in between, he was publicly campaigning for the ADC in Sokoto, then posted a video urging Kaduna voters to back the SDP in the same electoral cycle. You can call that tactical flexibility. His critics call it political opportunism. Then comes February 2026. During a live television interview, El-Rufai alleged that the National Security Advisor's phone had been tapped and that he knew what the NSA had said. The DSS responded immediately, filing a 3-count cybercrime charge at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Days later, the EFCC summoned him over a Kaduna State House of Assembly indictment, alleging the diversion of approximately N$423 billion. He went in voluntarily. He was detained for 48 hours, granted bail, and rearrested at the EFCC gate by the ICPC that same night. 3 agencies, 1 week, EFCC, ICPC, DSS, simultaneously. Now, El-Rufai and his allies have called this politically motivated persecution. His lawyers raised constitutional objections to the extended detention. Those concerns are legitimate and deserve to be heard. Nigeria's anti-graft agencies have been weaponized before. That is a documented pattern, not a conspiracy theory. But here's the problem that doesn't go away, regardless of which interpretation you accept. The man trying to lead an anti-corruption opposition argument is himself the subject of a N$423 billion corruption allegation. Even if every charge is eventually thrown out, the optics are a serious liability to a coalition that needs moral clarity as its primary selling point. Now add this. His son, Muhammad Bello El-Rufai, a sitting member of the House of Representatives for Kaduna North, was present at the APC National Summit, where President Tinubu was endorsed as the party's 2027 candidate. He publicly said he loves his father, but respects Tinubu and will not act against APC interests while he remains a member. El-Rufai said his son is an adult who made his own choice. One activist put it simply, if El-Rufai cannot bring his own son across, what exactly is his pull in the north? That is a question, not a verdict, but it is a question the coalition has not answered. On Amaechi, the South-South endorsement story didn't just raise questions, it contradicted itself in real time. On the same day John Odigi Oyegun announced support, the ADC's Zonal Publicity Secretary issued a formal denial, stating clearly, "Consultation is not endorsement." The National Vice Chairman went further. No one in the zone is obligated to back Amaechi. So the question is obvious. If his support is solid, why is it being publicly disputed from within his own coalition? Yes, he came second to President Tinubu in the 2022 APC presidential primaries, but he has never won a national election. And in Rivers State, the reality is even sharper. Nasir Wike, now FCT minister and deeply aligned with federal power, remains the dominant political force. Amaechi's base is real, but it is out of power, and it operates in Wike's shadow. There's one more dimension to El-Rufai, and it matters, especially if this coalition is trying to win in the south. During his 8 years as Kaduna governor, southern Kaduna, a predominantly Christian region, experienced repeated and devastating communal violence. Communities were attacked, schools were raided, students from Bethel Baptist, Greenfield University, and the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization were abducted in his watch. The 2022 Abuja-Kaduna train attack also happened during his tenure. Civil society groups and minority communities accused his administration of failing to protect them, and in some cases, of tacitly enabling the violence. He denied this, consistently arguing that governors do not have operational control over security agencies, that responsibility lies with the federal government. His defenders point to real achievements during the same period: rising school enrollment, a controversial but measurable teacher reform, and Kaduna topping a World Bank subnational business environment ranking in 2018. The record is genuinely split, not between facts and fiction, but between which facts you choose to weight. And that is where this becomes politically decisive. Southern and Middle Belt voters, the same audiences this coalition needs to win, carry that Kaduna history. El-Rufai, as a coalition figure, is not neutral in the South. For some communities, he represents something that cannot be separated from the violence they experienced. That is not a smear. It is a political reality the coalition will have to reckon with. Here's the question this episode is really asking, and it's bigger than either of these men. Is the ADC a genuine opposition movement? Or is it a collection of people who lost internal APC power struggles, repositioned themselves in the language of democratic reform, and are now trying to prosecute personal grievances under a coalition banner? I'm not saying it can't be both. Nigerian political history is full of principled opposition built from disillusioned insiders. That is literally how the APC itself was formed in 2013. Defectors, merger parties, people who had lost and repositioned. And it worked. It produced a government. But the APC in 2015 had two things: a common enemy and a candidate who represented something beyond the coalition itself. The late President Buhari wasn't just a candidate. He was a symbol people already believed in before the coalition existed. What is the ADC's equivalent? Who is the figure this coalition is actually building towards? Because if the answer right now is still unclear and El-Rufai is not running, Amaechi's endorsement is disputed, Atiku and Obi are circling, then what the coalition has is momentum without direction. El-Rufai and Amaechi are symptoms of that problem, not the cause of it. The question isn't whether you can trust these two men. The question is whether there's a movement worth trusting them with. We've spent 3 episodes on this coalition. Atiku, the experience argument. Peter Obi, the moral mandate argument. Kwankwaso, the grassroots machine. And now the insiders, the institutional knowledge argument. None of them are a clean answer. Every combination carries baggage. Every candidacy trades something to gain something else. That is not a failure of these individuals. That is Nigerian politics, where every major figure has governed, every major figure has compromised, and the electorate has been disappointed enough times to be skeptical of all of them. And yet, the question of which combination actually threatens the APC government is a real one. In 2015, a coalition of people who had also all previously been insiders ended 16 years of rule in a single election. The raw material for that kind of disruption exists again. Whether this coalition is doing the work to make it happen is a different question. So here's what I want from you. Not who you like. Not who is the most principled. I want to know. Be honest. Which combination gives the APC government the most sleepless nights on election night? And what does this coalition need to do concretely before 2027 to make you believe it is real? Drop it in the comments. This is The Political Pulse. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.